This is the Wally and Methot Show live. Now, here are your hosts, Brent Wallace and Mark Methot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wally and Methot Show live. I'm Brent Wallace. He's Mark Methot. This is brought to you by sportsinteraction.com. Go to sportsinteraction.com/Wally and Methot and get in on the most competitive odds. They are Canada's online casino and sportsbook. sportsinteraction.com/Wally and Methot. Meth, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. I look casual right now because I've been doing we've been putting away Christmas decorations. So my wife loves Christmas, so there's a lot of decorations. So I've been doing this for hours now. We even had to rent a dumpster that's sitting in my driveway as we speak with all the extras.
How many decorations are you throwing out?
Well, no. We're not throwing a decorations. Sorry, we're putting away decorations, but we're also doing a little bit of, spring cleaning, if you will. So there's lots happening in this home. And Wally, furthermore, I'm pretty sure I tore something in my shoulder. So I've been going back and forth with some doctors this morning. That was from a chest workout the other day, and I can't even lift my left arm. And I did the outdoor rink thing yesterday, which I think made it worse with the kids. So here we are.
I was going to get to the outdoor. Okay. Are there any pillows in the dumpster is my first question.
Don't give me... I have no comment.
No. All right. And so how was the outdoor rink, by the way? Can you move your knees today?
You know what? I'm not just saying this. I felt surprisingly really good. I mean, we were out there, I'm not kidding, for about 2 hours. And there were some kids that were taking breaks. I didn't take any breaks. I just kept going. and
did you dangle kids?
I wouldn't know. Well, you can't. It's hard. First of all, I could never dangle to begin with. But on an outdoor rink, where I haven't handled a puck in almost 2 years, it wasn't that pretty, but the skating was very good. Like defensively, I was stiff arming these kids. No one was getting around me. I had a really good active stick. But I had these leather gloves on, and looking back, I should have just worn my hockey gloves. But in any case, I'm shocked. I feel good today. Like my knee is good. So I don't know what that tells me.
Do you know what your Corsi would have been?
Well, we were outnumbered initially, I think. So it felt like I was playing against the Detroit Red Wings back in like 2009. Like the guys are just slapping the puck around. But no. It was a great time. The kids had a blast, so it was good.
Good stuff. By the way, the chat is open. We welcome you all on our YouTube channel just to pop in, throw some questions in. If you got any questions for our guest that's coming up here in a sec, Bobby Ryan, feel free to do that. By the way, we should just actually get to Bobby Ryan now. Let's hook up the Methot and see if we can bring in Bobby.
Connecting to the Methot. Methot now connected.
Is it working? Hey, it works. Bobby, how are you?
I'm good, guys. Hey, it's amazing what $39.99 at Best Buy will do, eh, man? You're in.
Yep. Nearly broke the bank. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys too. I enjoyed the internet or the intro there with Meth talking about putting Christmas decorations away because I got out of all of it and I only had to fly to Switzerland to do it, but I missed it all.
Veteran move.
Yeah. So next year I'm thinking Germany. I'm not sure yet.
Let's go over this for a sec. First of all, you were supposed to move. Did you actually help with the move to your new house, or did you bolt on that as well?
I got us into the house and then I bolted pretty quickly, and we still had because when I left we were all on air mattresses and the kids were on one in their own rooms right now, and then my wife and I were on two separate ones because we messed up on the ordering, so we were like pushing mattresses together. But I came home and like the house is done. It looks incredible. So my wife's been busy.
That's great.
But you guys, you know the nightmare it is though when you're just like we got all of our outdoor furniture delivered and none of our indoor stuff before I had left. It was a nightmare. But we're here. So we're here and we're in.
When did the call for the Spengler Cup come about? Were you actively pursuing this for a while?
No, I don't think so. It was quick. I had gotten a call if I was interested early, in December, and then didn't hear anything at all. And my agent was like, "Why don't you get back on the ice?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Which I didn't do as much as I should have, because I honestly thought he forgot. And then the call came in, and he's like, "Yeah, they want you over there in 48 hours." And he's like, "You've been working out and skating?" And I was like, "Oh, a ton." So it was nuts. I did a Zoom with the guys, and then within 48 minutes, or 48 hours, excuse me, I was on a plane and panicking that I hadn't skated enough. But I guess it didn't matter anyway, really, in the grand scheme of things.
So was Danielle okay with you skipping out on Christmas? Like, how was that a tough decision to make for all of you?
Yeah, it was. I think our initial conversation was like that, like, you're gonna miss Christmas, and I was like, well, but I promise it'll be the last time. This is the last time I want to try something like this. And Matt, we watch that tournament all the time. I love that tournament, man. I made it as far as the building doors in Davos, and I got to see the barn from the outside. But and I was in Davos by myself for like 24 hours. I woke up and the tournament was canceled, and that was it. So this video we're seeing is from Lugano, which was an incredible spot as well. But yeah, it wasn't a hard decision. Danielle, I just said, listen, this is something I need to do. I need to see this through one more tournament, and if it's the last tournament I play, then I can be content. But I got to try to play in it. And I tried, but that's about it. That's as far as I got.
Go ahead, Matt.
No, nothing. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I wanted to, like, so you land in Switzerland, and are you told right away that the team you're supposed to play on, which included Peter Regan, former Ottawa Senator, it was tested positive, I think, at 10 cases?
Yeah, I actually think it was more. I couldn't even get, for the first 4 days, like, I was there for 2 and couldn't leave my room other than, I went to the gym and whatever at the hotel, but that was it. Because it was like, why even drive to Ambry? And driving to Ambry from where I was staying, Meth, would be like driving from Rockcliffe to the rink and back, one way. Like, that's how far it was. So I was like, I'm not driving out there.
Hike.
Like, it may, right? Yeah. So, and it's a different kind of hike. You're going through Swiss mountains and villages and tunnels. It was a cool drive, but eventually they were like, well, now we're out of the tournament. So I landed, couldn't get on the Wi-Fi in the airport, was struggling with that. Finally made connection. And I said, hey, I'm really sorry, I'm really late. We were already delayed. I'm in this customs line, which was an hour and 35 minutes, give or take, to get through customs, standing, just moving, moving 3 feet, stop. Oh, it was awful. It's
like that everywhere now.
And then, and then I got through and got a text that said, doesn't matter, we're all in quarantine. And I was like, what? Pardon? That was my, welcome to Switzerland. Or I was in Italy, and then I had to drive up, and he's like, we'll let you know in a couple of days. But I was like, well, I'm just going to go home, and I'm already here at the airport. I could just turn around, just let me book my own flight. And I didn't. I ended up staying to find out, a week later I could have played on another team, and then that got canceled. It was just it was a really weird week. It was
Bob,
a very interesting week.
When you were there in the hotels, were you doing any activity? Like, were you allowed to go ride the bike or work out in the hotel gyms? Like, what were you doing this whole time?
The first 2 days I went to the gym in the hotel, and it was actually a really good gym. So I couldn't complain. I had everything I needed.
Nice.
A really good pool and hot tub setup was awesome. So I just enjoyed that. It was all indoor. Like, they had a nice water fountain. I just sat there with my head under the fountain. I was like, I could get used to this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, after that, I did drive to Ambry and skate it for 2 days in Ambry, until I met my new team, and then went out and, went to go meet them in Davos, and then got told I wasn't playing.
So were you having all your meals in the room and all that stuff too? Like by yourself? Like, so you were basically isolated this whole time on your own?
Yeah. I went to, in Lugano, I was there for 4 days, and my bill was $700 for room service. Something like that. It was nuts because I ate every meal. And then even when I didn't, I would venture down. They had this little, it was like a lobby bar / restaurant all in one. They told me breakfast was included, and it wasn't. It was like, a hotel breakfast is $50 a pop for a buffet. I ate that. I ate that every day. I had no clue, so it was a bit of a mess. But you know, honestly, I went to who I went to go see play. I went to see Bodker play, Mikhail Bodker, in
Nice.
Lugano one night. I asked the GM. I said, like, can you just throw me a ticket and I'll go. So I watched 2 periods and wanted to see the hockey over there. And it was honestly still a pretty cool experience. Really, when was I ever going to go? You know?
Yeah, I know. I just feel bad for you. Like I had a chance to play in that right after I retired too. They were Canada was calling me for going over, but my knee just wouldn't like you. I was skating by myself. I was trying to get ready and it just couldn't work for me. But like you mentioned earlier, Bob, it's such a cool tournament, you know, like the setup's really neat. It's always in a beautiful area. Like you can't go wrong. And that's, anyway, I feel for you, man, because going over there, you're committed to doing it. And I think a lot of people here were excited to see you too. Like I don't know if you realize it, but you were creating a lot of buzz over here in Ottawa because all these videos of you practicing were surfacing, right? Of doing one guy actually posted something, look, because you look winded after you're doing those little backhand like shelf passes after practice. So, and you guys like, oh boy, he's already winded from doing that. I'm like, it's after practice. And Bob's probably already exhausted and he's just taking extra shots. I had to come in and like say that because it's like, I don't think people understood what they were watching. Yeah.
Well, the best part was like when he commented back, he's like, the ice looks clean. And I was like, yeah, because it's an international size ice. I skated at one end and I worked up the other. But you can't win with that conversation. No. I'm like,
no.
I wanted to post the program that they left me for that day and be like, give it a try, pal. Give it a try.
Try it out. Try it out. Have at it. See how you do.
Yeah. I was like,
anyway.
and it's at altitude. It was the same height as Denver there. So.
Really?
That adds into it. So you get you get 15.
Is that in Lugano or in Davos?
That's in right halfway between them and Ambry. Yeah.
Oh, in Ambry.
So
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
The whole country's elevated. You know, I've never seen like you guys. I live in Idaho where we have mountains left, right, and south and north, and I had never seen anything like this. It was incredible. The mountains.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
you could feel your lungs. You could probably taste blood in there, right? Like in Colorado for those pregame skates. Oh, it's the worst.
Nothing worse. You're just praying for short shifts early, and you're like, you get stuck out there. You take a minus, and you got to come off and get oxygen. There's nothing worse. Yeah.
So when you got back home, did Danielle have a gift for you or anything? Were there any presents for Bobby?
Well, we did but I had already seen them all, and Danielle didn't realize that the entire time she was buying presents, that I got logged out of my Amazon account and I saw everything she bought.
Oh no!
So I had to tell her, and because I felt bad, right? But we did all of our gift exchange, and we did the gift exchange. It was awesome. I still got to Skype with the kids. That by the time I got to Zurich, I was perfect timing for them to wake up. So it was good. Yeah, I got to watch the whole thing on the Methot.
Right on.
This seems like a good time to ask how your daughter's finger is doing.
A little she's good. What a great clip though, wasn't it? It was amazing that I had just happened to be recording at that exact moment and she just flips us a bird.
It runs in the family, Bob, with the finger injuries. Can't get away from it. It's a curse.
Yeah. The poor kid. Just pass that one right down.
She'll be older and just walking around like this, like fingers all crippled.
That's tough,
good. Good to hear she's doing well.
She's good. Yeah, I came home. The place was just shrapnel everywhere because I'm the garbage bag dad on Christmas morning. I don't know about you, but I'm like, do you like that? Yeah. Throw it in. Get it out of my house. Right.
Give me the paper.
Before the gifts were before the kids even attacked our tree, I when you snap the bag open when you pull it out of the little package, I was ready to rock with 2 garbage bags before even the first gift was open. It gives me anxiety. All the stuff on the floor everywhere. I can't.
We're the same way. We've always had a lot in common, but that's a big one for me. I can't stand wrap. I'm like, don't even wrap them. Just pull them out of the.
Put them in a box.
We got drawers everywhere. Tell the kids it's a Christmas present Easter egg hunt. I don't care.
That's a great idea. I never even thought of that. Do you still, by the way, keep in touch with Bodker?
You know what? I hadn't a ton. Didn't even know he was playing in Lugano. Meth, you never cross paths with Boz, did you?
No, never.
No. Oh, yeah. So he's
Really
a
good
guy
guy.
you're going to see at the rink and you're never going to see again. He's awesome, but he's, and he's really personable, but he just kind of goes off and does his own thing. So I sent him a message and he's like, I'm here. But I didn't want to get around him. I was going to ask him to lunch and dinner, but they were expecting a baby any day. So they probably even, had it over the holidays here. And I was like, you know what, I've been traveling, just in case, I have COVID or I caught it flying or, in the cattle herd that is customs, caught it or just exposed myself. It's not worth it. So I got to go see him play. He actually looked really good. He had a really good game. It's fun to watch him.
How's the jet lag? Do you want to explain? Because you just get over jet lag and then all of a sudden you're back on a plane back to the US.
Yeah, I had two of the best sleeps of my career the last 2 days. And yeah, and then turned around and did it again. So it hasn't. Last night was night 4, I guess, and I think I'm past it here. But the first few nights, I was putting the kids down with my wife at 8, and I went straight to bed. Didn't say a word, just in the bed and out cold. And then sometime between 3:30 and 4, wide awake again. So yeah, you're sitting on the couch having tea, just like, this sucks. There's nothing worse, But it's
so hard.
It's so brutal, but it is what it is. You just kind of try and, I tried to like force myself to stay awake and I couldn't do it. Not even a little bit.
So if there's interest in Team USA for the Spengler, would you do the Olympics?
So you realize I wasn't playing for Team USA, right?
Yeah. No, as I said it, I had Team USA in my head from World Juniors, but
yeah, no worries.
Would you do the Olympics?
It's still an option. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. I think there's been some initial discussions about it. Not any with me indirectly, but directly, but I've heard a few things from people that I know and aging a little bit that there's interest in having me there. Again, but I would have to ask the same questions everybody else is asking, right? Like, am I going to if I pop for COVID over there, am I going to be there for 3 to 5 weeks? Am I going to miss, fly all the way over there for missing a tournament that's going to get canceled? Like, there's just so many moving parts that I don't know. I'd have to really sit down and ask Danielle and my family if it was okay to go away for another possibly 3 to 10 weeks if you pop, right? Like,
is a gold medal worth being stuck in a hotel room for 5 weeks? Like, legitimate question. I'm not trying to be funny here. Like, would you trade those two things? Like, you know what I mean?
Oof.
Yeah.
Question.
Well, so as we know, I have silver and that sucks.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe it might be.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. Thanks, man. But I don't know, Meth. I don't know. Ask me again if it's when it's a real option in a couple weeks, and then I'll know. But that being said, I switched my focus today to training for it. If I do go, I'm not going to not be ready. So Meth, you know how I like my food. I just got off the phone with a dietitian, nutritionalist. I was like, I need you to dial me in for 5 hard weeks here. I don't need a cheat meal. I don't need anything. Just let me, help me. I love you too, baby. Just let me prepare for this correctly. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. So
see, like, for me, 100%, man. You're doing the right thing, and it keeps you motivated and it keeps you occupied doing something you love. Right. But I think for me, if you do head over there, it's like, at what point, well, first of all, do we even know what's going on now that the NHL is completely out of it? Do we even know what the next step is? Is it just going to be a group of like ragtag players, like retired /
it'll be like Sochi.
Minor hockey league? Yeah. It'll be like Okay.
Yeah.
That's
it's
interesting.
going to be the ragtags like me. Thanks.
Yeah.
Matt.
Well, that's well, I mean,
the ragtag.
You fall into that category now, Bob. That's just the reality.
It's fair. It's fair. So, wow. You know what? I did get to play harsh. I got to play 3-on-3 in Switzerland, Matt, and I was dominant. So I was like 3-on-3, and the guys were like, we haven't skated in 10 days because I guess they had a couple days off before they all tested positive. And I was like, well, I've skated 10 times in 2 months, so like we're even, okay? And I love big ice, even if it's 3-on-3. I just posted up, and I was like, sticks at the rafters, hit it.
Well, and that would be an advantage for you. I think like a lot of people, like I was thinking about it. I'm like I know the big ice, it's big ice, but you get around really well. And the fact that you're so big and strong and skilled, like I feel like you eat people up. I know you're not going to comment on that and tell me, yeah, I would dominate this tournament, but I truly believe you'd be. But I believe that. My only thing is, and this was the question that I wanted to ask you earlier. I think it's like when you get over there, even if let's say they are a little more flexible with the quarantining period, and it makes it more enticing for you to go over, are you still not robbed of the event itself? Like, because I've never experienced it. You've been there, so you know what it's like. Are you not robbed of like the culture and being able to meet other athletes and do all those things too? Like, because I'm assuming you'll all be isolated.
It's certainly not going to be like Vancouver or any other Olympics, I guess, except for what they were. Where were the last ones? The summer ones? Were they in China?
Japan,
Tokyo.
No, man.
They were in
Japan.
Tokyo.
So,
and
plus in this one, if you're critical, like, do they ship you off in a train somewhere to like a camp? Like, what do you do?
That's well,
like we don't know, right? Like there are.
You're asking.
Don't say anything.
China. I can say what I want because I don't plan on
questions.
traveling there. Yeah. So, like
you're asking all the questions I'm going to ask that aren't on air.
So like, if you're over there, Bobby, and you decide to say like, you know what, like these rooms are disgusting, or you tweet something negative, are they knocking on your door at 4 a.m. and taking you away? That's something else to think about.
Valid. It's a valid question. But I'll go back to the original question was, yes, I think you'll be severely robbed. Severely robbed of the normal Olympic experience, but I don't know. As the way I'm looking at it right now is I'm not playing hockey. I kind of want to play hockey, and I might get that chance. And even if it's 7 more games, it's 7 more games, right? And if there's 7 good games and you can hang your hat on that, then you can hang your hat on that and be content.
100%.
I don't want it's like my last hockey game ever is in Buffalo on a Tuesday or a Saturday afternoon at noon right now. And it was I told you guys, I played 5 games in 7 days at Detroit's camp. And I remember being on the bench in the third, and I was like, I just can't wait for this to be over, whether I played again or not after that, because I was like, that nobody plays 5 games in 7 days, let alone a 34-year-old guy. So I was like, I think Lucas Raymond actually played 4 and 6, and I was like, talk to me later,
Yeah.
If we were playing back to back
younger.
and you had to play again, talk to me about it, down the stretch, but it is what it is. So, I'll be able to answer all those questions, I think, for you guys next time I'm on in hopefully a couple weeks, and we can really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Did you go to the Spengler with hopes of, like Chris Kelly did the same thing, of getting back to the National Hockey League? Was that the goal, the ultimate goal?
No, I don't want to say I've given up that part of it, but that wasn't my goal. My goal was to play in the Spengler, because I was like, this is again, I reiterate, it's just such a cool event. And it wouldn't have been the same. The fans wouldn't have been as crazy, like they always are on TV when you see them. But I drove to Davos and got there into the city, and the village is insane. This entire, this little village town where they told me about it. They were like, you're going to get there. It's really small. They're like, you're going to get there. Yeah. It's going to be this sleepy little ski town. And then the tournament was supposed to start the next day. I woke up on Christmas morning and there was 100,000 people walking around this place. I could not believe the transformation it made in the 24 hours I was there. So I just wanted to feel that event and be part of it. And, it sucks it didn't happen. So I walked down for breakfast in the morning. I was all pumped up. I was like, this is going to be a day, Corey Conacher I was talking to him. He was coming into town. He was on his way up, a couple other guys. And I got down to the breakfast buffet, and the lady says, and her English was not good. But she says, you canceled. And I said, I didn't have a reservation. I'm just here for the buffet. And she says, no, Bern canceled. And I said, no, Ambry canceled. I play for Bern now. And I something didn't sit right. And I sat down, Math, and I was like, fuck, this is, something doesn't sit right. It feels off. So I checked my phone because I wasn't getting the alerts. And sure enough, it just says Spengler canceled. Davos had 17 test positive, and it was brutal. So,
Did you went right for the pastries. Pardon?
Hard pastries. They
I
do.
knew it.
Dude, they do breakfast. I had, you know what I had for breakfast? Because I had wanted it the whole time I was there and I was staying away from it. I had salami and cheese on a pretzel bun with
Yep.
like 4 glasses of the multivitamin juice that's got 900 calories in it. I was like,
Yeah.
who cares?
It's so much different over there. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything's just it runs a little slower. So I told Danielle, I got back to my room. I said, I'm coming home, but it was the middle of the night here, so she wasn't ready to talk. And I didn't even wait. I got in the car, I downloaded the United app and booked a flight for the next day, booked a COVID test for that day because I was like, Davos was apparently the biggest hotspot in the country, and I had been there walking around. I just was like, I got to get out and get out now, because if it sits in you and you test positive 5 days later, now I'm really stuck here. So I hurried up to Zurich and came home.
Good for you.
But that was that was a tough way to find out, though. It was like the waitress at the restaurant's like, you're not playing. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it was tough. Well.
So Mark Masters. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I meant to say Corey Conacher.
I wanted to get this one question out of the way because it's driving me nuts, and you'd think I'd already know the answer to this. Bob, you guys moved to Nashville, right?
Yeah.
So
that's where we are now.
What prompted the move? Because you guys had a beautiful spot out there in Idaho. I'm trying to figure out why you would move to Nashville.
We still have the spot in Idaho.
Okay.
And that'll be summer. Yeah, that's always going to be summer.
Okay.
I would never leave Idaho. I would stay there for the rest of my life, but my wife's just done with winter. And, we've talked about where I was at Gaza Ranch there in the golf course community. The same company is doing one here, that we're building a house in now. So, and there's a hockey community, the guys that are down there, it's a bunch of Preds players are building. Matt Duchene's building. George Peros is there, who I've stayed close with my whole career, because we were roommates in Anaheim. So we had some friends built in. My wife has no ties to anywhere. I have no ties to anywhere. Again, no taxes, and it's the South. I always like the South. I just like the way of life that people live here. They're real heavy on the barbecue. I'm real heavy on the barbecue. Big fan of the pimento cheese and no taxes.
It's a funny thing, and I hear this all the time. I find down there in a lot of the southern states, people are just a little friendlier. I find like my experiences going down there, people would go out of their way. Like I'd be at the grocery store with like our newborn. My son's 4 now, but at the time he was a newborn, and like random ladies would come up and want to see our kid and like talk to us. And it was a completely different experience from living here. Not Canadians are awesome, obviously, but there's a Southern hospitality. It's a real thing. Yeah.
It's just different. Everybody, I don't know what it's like in neighborhood. Like when we moved into places in Ottawa, nobody ever knocked on the, we had a welcoming wagon here of other people just living in the neighborhood saying we're not going to bother you, but you need anything. And would leave phone numbers and dishes and whatever. It was just a different experience. And I was like, and there's still, you and I talk about some of our views every now and again, but there's still pockets left where you can have kids and raise them a little more traditionally if you want to. And you don't have to worry about them at our little park or walking down. We had a 6-year-old knock on our door, and she said, "Can I come play?" And Danielle was like, "Should we walk her home? Should we?" Because we were leaving, but Danielle was like, "Should we walk her home?" She's like, "No, we do this every day." It was just different, it's where you want to be with kids.
There's a stronger sense of community, I think. It is the way it is. But I miss that for sure. Like when we went down there, people just seemed just a little more relaxed, a little happier. I don't know if it's the weather or what it is, but there was a significant change. Anyway, I was curious about that. That's why I asked.
Well, if you're never cold,
I
you're
show
always
up at
happy.
Matt's house.
That's
true.
Right?
The weather, I feel like that's proven. If you're living in a warmer climate, you tend to probably be in a better mood when you wake up, as opposed to being up here in February where it gets dark at 4 and it's minus 15 Celsius outside. So that might be part of it.
You can go out at night.
I show up at Meth's house. He won't answer the phone. He won't answer the door.
I believe that.
I can't imagine why. And Bobby can relate to me there. He gets it.
100%. I would 100%. I walk by our kids have they got a teeter-totter, or like a little tiny one for in the house. And it's in the dining room because we don't have dining room furniture. So they're playing in there, and then they leave the lights on. And I'm like, people are going to think we're home if you leave the lights on. Turn those off, right? Like, knock it off. People are going to,
I think,
let them get sugar
like,
from people 2 doors down.
Yeah. Bobby and I are we're very outgoing. Like in a social setting, when we're around people, we're very comfortable at carrying conversations and being approachable. Like, we enjoy that. But I think I can speak for Bobby when I say that when we're home in our own space, we don't want to be bothered. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to be an introvert and just hide in my house. Is that a fair assessment, Bob?
That's completely accurate. Do you remember when we did when like Dion, who's one of the most outgoing guys ever, we did that team building exercise with Guy Boucher, and it was all about like standing on planks in the park and like tugging the next guy with you. And I was like, listen, I'm all for team building. Yeah. And I was like, why don't we all just go sit on a bar stool? I was good at that back then. But,
man.
But,
and that was like when I got to Columbus, my first year in Columbus, like the first year I made it, Hitch was the coach. And Hitch is all into, like, you know, Civil War, and he likes like military guys, and he always has the SEALs come in and talk. And we would do, for our team building out of training camp, we had to go to this camp and carry these like huge 100-pound shells and carry the weight, do the similar stuff like those activities that we did with Guy Boucher. But the year prior, the team went to Fort Lauderdale for like 4 days and just chilled. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. You know, I don't want to, you know, and I don't get it. Anyway.
But I'll never forget when they like she like was like, this is team building, but we're going to set you into groups by your personality. And like, we had to answer the questions, and Meth and I were the only guys in a group. And, you know, you had like the most outgoing guys over here. And then there was Zach Smith, who was in a group by himself because he's like, I like everybody and everybody likes me. And Meth and I were like, we like a few guys. We're pretty tolerable, we think, but you know, if your house is getting robbed, we'll call the police, but we're probably not coming over for dinner.
like you might have a flat tire. I might have to pull a U-turn before I get to you because I just can't cope with that.
yeah. But I'll never forget how that story ended. It was like when she's like, well, and she picked me from our group, and she picked Dion, and she said to Dion and I, what would you do? You know, you go into a big party and everybody's already talking to somebody, and you know, what would your personality say you do? And Dion answered, he's like, oh, I'd go join a group and start talking. And I was like, I wouldn't ever walk in that room. I'd be so far gone by the time. But like, I was like, I would look in that room and see where the coat check was to make sure I could run by it with my flaps turned up on my hoodie.
Or you just grab your phone, you put it to your ear and pretend like you're taking a call, and you walk outside. Like, I've done that before, by the way.
How many times have you done it at team events? Right? Or like that. That's like, there was always so many different ones, but like, and actually they were so much better in Ottawa, where Ottawa, I don't know if it's a Canadian thing, they were just always better, that people like always had so much respect for your boundaries, but it wasn't the same everywhere I played. And sometimes they felt like a petting zoo, you know? So I would always just grab the Nokia, put it to your ear.
Well, I feel like that's more Ottawa. That's more of an Ottawa thing, because it's a pretty conservative government city. It's kind of sleepy. But if you go to, like, you know, Montreal or Toronto even, I feel like it's a different animal. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure.
I would assume it has to be. But yeah, those events were so much better in Ottawa than anywhere else I've been. And that would only be Anaheim. In Detroit, we didn't have anything with COVID. So Anaheim, they just always felt different. And they were so much bigger in Anaheim because of the population and being California, right? So Ottawa, just everything felt smaller and I guess more personal, I guess would be the word for it. But
yeah, for sure.
But
okay, so do you remember do you remember Tim Stützle got a hat trick? I don't know if you saw this video, but it was online, where all these kids showed up because it was COVID, and they threw hats in the back of Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle's house, flooded the backyard. So I'm curious what your reaction would be if that were to be you in Ottawa and you saw your front yard being flooded with hats.
I would have been okay. With kids, I can deal with. I always got time to hang with kids. I'll talk to them about hockey all day. They're just easier. And you know, kids are way more honest, but they're more personable with their intentions. So when they tell you you suck because you haven't scored in 10 games, you're like, you know what, I can deal with that. But it's when you know, it's when Joe Blow tells you while you're pumping gas, you're just like, man, like it's so you know, it gets cringeworthy at times because you're like, I can't say anything. Like, what do I say? You know,
No, nothing.
Right.
No,
grin and
just
bear
move
it.
on.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I would have
Then
handled that.
Then they
well.
pull out a
I
hockey
always
card.
a time for kids. Yeah, yeah, exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Can you sign this?
My first year we lived in my first year we were in Westboro, and everybody knew that like Jared from Gong Show, who is the owner, is a good buddy of mine, and like was in my wedding. So we would do those videos, and then people would knock on the door and ask me for Gong Show gear and hats, and I'm like, well, just because he throws me the odd hat and lid doesn't mean I'm gonna go get a boys medium for you and your friends. Like it was just so, but they at least they were funny about it. I didn't mind. I never mind with kids. But yeah, lights
funny.
off. That was like just so they never know you're home.
I want to go back to team building for a second. We're way over time. By the way, Bobby Ryan interview brought to you by BEI, Bonisher Excavating Inc., helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, bonisherexcavating.com. What was Guy Boucher's team building exercises like? And was he the only one that you guys really had?
Yeah, I guess he would have been. I don't think we ever did any. I was only there with Paul for a year, and then, well, we had, God, it was just a rotation for a while there. But yeah, Guy was more gung ho about it. He certainly wanted to do stuff, and like the one day we went to the park around the corner in Canada, and did all sorts of like, it was team. I guess you call it teamwork. Remember
and that
was
one? So painful. That was so painful.
It was just.
We were at
it would have been fine.
Yeah, that was at the KRC. Well, no. We'll just add to it just for some detail for people to get more of a visual. We were at the KRC where that big hill is. There's a big hill there and we were in a field, Bob, and there was like three or four different kind of stations, and we had to do these little the one was like the ropes. There was like 2 ropes, maybe the spacing between the ropes was about 2 or 3 feet, and we had to get everybody through those ropes. And the challenge, of course, was the first person and the last person to get over there. And I think we did stuff like that. Am I right?
Yeah. And then we did like the 2x4 walking where you had to like make a pattern to get, and nobody could touch the ground. You're only this far off the ground, but nobody could touch it. And it was like, I don't, when they do these things, they don't prepare, like they do it with military people, they do it with corporate stuff, but then they come to a bunch of professional athletes and we were just flying through these things. And they're like, okay, well, the team and the organization paid for 2 hours. You guys finished at 45 minutes. Now we're going to sit in a circle and we're going to tell you cool stories. And you're just like, man, you gave me 4 things to do with my group. My group nailed them. And if we're not going to Dairy Queen, I'm going home.
No, but it's Bob. Bob is he's not exaggerating with that. Like when we're doing these activities, like we bang them out really quickly, because there's a little bit of physicality involved. And then we're obviously used to working together already. Most of the guys already know each other. I feel like ideally when you're doing these team building things, you're better off going to like a big dinner and then mixing the crowd up, make sure you're sitting with guys you don't know, have conversations. Like those are the things that kind of improve it. But those other ones, and I can't be the only guy to think this, and neither are you, Bob. There had to have been other guys that just think, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah, well, you would always get in the car to go to wherever it was with a like-minded car ride, and then I imagine some of those car rides are just blasting music, singing "Kumbaya." We're gonna go work together, and then some of those car rides are us just go, God, like we could be doing anything together. Like let's go to dinner.
I could be in Fort Lauderdale.
Dinner. Yeah. I would do a dinner where every half hour for 4 hours you mixed it up and you went and sat with like you said, with the next guys. But yeah, it was just bad. They were tiresome sometimes.
Okay, Bobby, if you had to take one teammate on the Amazing Race, who would you take?
Oh, Smitty. I don't even think it would come close. Hey,
Smitty. I bet you agree.
Number one, because he could live in a forest, no problem. But you can stick him in any city in the world, and he's going to be comfortable. Trying to figure out the language and talking to people. Yeah, that's got to be the right pick. I don't think anybody else would be.
Can you?
Yeah.
Meth, we're gonna have you disconnect and come back. The Methernet
I knew it.
has messed up.
Yeah.
Are you the Meth? Yeah, no, we'll go away. We'll see you come back. Oh, we spent too much money on the Methernet and now it's down.
Is it better? Is it better?
There you go.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So whatever you just said, we don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It wasn't important.
Did you have another nomination for a player?
No. I'm with you guys on Smitty. Smitty he's low maintenance. He barely eats. He eats like a bird. He's a good cook. He does a lot of woodwork. He's just a handy guy. So I think he's the right pick, and he's a good athlete.
Yeah. And I feel like if you were really tired, like he would just pull you. Right?
Yeah.
You can find a wheelbarrow and he'll walk for days. That guy will throw rocks all day. He doesn't care.
See, I would be really good during the daytime, and then at nighttime I would just bitch nonstop about how I don't have a nice, comfortable king size bed to sleep in.
Yeah. No, you're good 7:30 to 7:30, and then Meth gets cranky.
Yes, confirmed.
Last question, Bobby, before I let you go. World Juniors, you played in 06, which was in Vancouver. You had Phil Kessel on your team. Blake Wheeler, John Hines was assistant coach. You had a couple of Eric Johnson, Jack Johnson. My question I have for you, Brian Lee, by the way, on that team is, what do you remember your experience? I know you guys finished fourth, but how, I guess, was that a great time for you guys just to be around at that age group, to be in Vancouver, where, I mean, it's the center of the world is focused on you at that time?
Yeah. No. It was awful. It was an awful experience. I got to be honest. We went in. We were so hyped, right? I think we were the first team that had, even with the 03 Canadian team or the 05 birth years, we were supposed to be one of the best teams in world junior history. Like, this was the billing. Phil Kessel was gonna, be the man. He had a great supporting cast, and I didn't know this because I didn't play at the national team program, that there was like some major rifts between these guys at the time. And I won't say the guys, but there were some major problems in their national team locker rooms. And this was a year removed from that because they were all, freshmen in school at this point. But it was uncomfortable. And then me and, Blake Wheeler, who didn't play there, a couple other guys, Robbie Shrimp, we weren't aware of this. So it was like you were taking a side before the tournament started, and it was just really dramatic. And then on top of it, we didn't play like we should. We weren't good enough as a team because we didn't do anything at Canada Rec Park. We did no team building. It was just like, let's go hope we're better, and we weren't. We were just an okay team because we weren't on the same page at all, it felt like.
Because I was told it would just be before, so it might be the 03, maybe 02 teams, that there was literally fist fights in the locker room with Team USA. Like, it was such a mess that there was such a divide in that group. And that's I've never gone and found out and talked about it, but a former Ottawa Senator told me about that one time. He's like, it's really tough, but at that point they needed to try and get it turned around. Yeah.
It was pretty bad. And to credit USA Hockey, I think they have, because they've been very, very good in the last, I guess you would say, 6 or 7, maybe even 8 years with their medal count. But we were billed to be a lot better than we were. And we just, I never played at USA Hockey. That was my first experience, and I couldn't believe the dysfunction that was in that room. It was nuts.
Wow. That's interesting. So many stories to tell you. Okay. So have you followed along on what's going on with the World Juniors are being shut down now? And do you have a reaction to it?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't. So you guys probably are just getting it shoved down your throats up there, right? It's probably just streaming all day long. Whereas I have no news like that. I have Twitter, and that's all I've seen. So I don't know any more details than that it was canceled, and I guess there's more tests coming out today positive. So more and more games have been canceled. I don't know what I don't know what the right decision is. All I'm going to say is that I saw that picture of the Germans out there hugging, and I was like, it's heartbreaking because you got to none of those guys are going to play in the NHL. Maybe maybe one or two get some game. Who knows? The Austrian team that, you know, they were probably going to lose every game, but that's a once in a lifetime opportunity taken from them. Like it's heartbreaking for those kids. That's all I would say. So I hope they find a way to give it back to them sometime. And did I hear
Well
June
said.
or August possibly?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're talking about it. The same with all the other tournaments. They're trying to get them in. I hope they do. Like, and the one thing that the U18 women's has been such a hot button topic, and because of them just saying outright they're canceling it. But what I didn't know at the time, if you listen to the president of the IIHF, he said they had to use the term cancel it because if they said postpone, it would still mean Sweden had to host it, and Sweden couldn't host it anymore. So canceling it meant that somebody else can come step in, like USA Hockey, and take over the tournament and come up with a different plan. So the semantics of that word raised so much attention, but that's what he had to do. So I guess sometimes we need to wait to find out all the facts before we get all wound up. But I think they're still going to try and get all these events in, which would be huge. Yeah.
You mean,
like even
you're asking Twitter to be rational now.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I know I'm an idiot. Total idiot. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Because I went to the World Championships and Great Britain was in for the first time in like 40 years or something ridiculous. And they were just having a blast of being there. They didn't care if they won or not, but there's so much excitement for that whole group, that program, just to get there. So it's the same thing, obviously, as you say, for the like Germans and the Austrians and all those other teams that are just trying to get there to play some hockey. That's the fun stuff.
Yeah. I remember I went to Helsinki with Team USA, and it was a ways back, but I remember we played France and like we beat them okay, but they were having a tough tournament, but they were staying at the same hotel as us, and these guys are smoking darts in the lobby, like just outside the lobby, getting ready to go on the bus, and they're just having fun, right? They're like, and it's a different culture, so they're, you know, they smoke over there, but it was nuts to be getting on a bus, and I got a Powerade, my headphones in, getting ready to go play the game, and these guys are just having a dart, hanging out. I was like, what a different.
Bob, what year was that? Was that 2012? 2013 maybe?
I think it,
do you remember?
I think it was, yeah. I think it's 2012.
I was at that one too. Yeah. And I remember seeing all the France guys.
Actually, you were.
We played a couple exhibition. We were in Paris for the week leading up, so we played a bunch of games against them, and you're right. They were like much different the way they approached the game.
Yeah. They were like the amount of booze that I watched them consume just at the hotel. I was like, this is like all the work has been done just to get here. And now they're like, we could do everything we could possibly need to do, and we're going to lose by 4 to Canada, probably. Yeah. And let's just have fun while we're here. I was like,
but you know,
good for you.
They've come a long way. Like their skating, I thought, like it wasn't bad. Like they didn't look out of place. They didn't have the finesse that some of the other teams had. Like, you know, they don't have any Bobby Ryans or guys that can just take the puck and do what they want with it. But like they were, you could tell they're trending towards the way the Swiss plays now, where they just have a lot of speed and they're always cycling up in the neutral zone and building it. I noticed that with that team. And I think back my final point on the World Juniors, you're robbing these kids of these opportunities where they can get a little bit of the growth that you'll see with a lot of these organizations. Like this is where Germany was years ago, right? And some of these other countries, and all of a sudden the exposure from their programs helps them build it up. And that's, I think, why you look at the bigger picture, it really hurts the programs when they have to bail out of these tournaments.
I agree. Yep. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better.
Too bad.
Anyway. 2012 was the year you went to the World Championships. The Team USA finished 7th, Bobby. Do you have an explanation for that?
No, we had a good bye, we had a good round robin. And then the way it worked was, I don't know if we were first or second. I think we were second coming out, and we lost on goal differential to Canada, if I remember correctly. I'm guessing because we lost to Slovakia. They played the 0-5 offense or the 0-5 defense, and we just couldn't break through. But we had beaten Finland. We had beaten Finland really handedly in the round robin, and then drew them in the quarterfinal. And they played really. I think they won with 1.1 second left on the clock, and we had to go out and take the face off and to move on. So yeah, that was just all it was. We lost to a good team. Finland was good.
It's disappointing. It's always a fun term. All right, go start to unpack some more boxes. Enjoy your New Year's, and we're going to look forward to having you back on. If you're going to the Olympics, you're coming back on the show before you go.
You'll be my first call. All right.
See you, gentlemen. Take care.
See you. Bye.
There goes Bobby Ryan. who unfortunately didn't get to play at the Spengler Cup, but is always a perfect guest to have on for our show. So all the best to him. By the way, we're going to bring in Craig if he's still around. And we're way past what we were supposed to do. Hi, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. Dude, that was so good. I love when Bobby comes on. It just turns into like a little chat, and you guys shoot the shit. And here, there's always some good stories about Dion or Guy Boucher or whatever. So chat was really digging that stuff. So nice work there, fellas.
Good.
He's a good dude. Got lots of other stuff to talk about. We're way over. I expected to have a 15-minute conversation with Bobby. So Sens update. By the way, Matt Murray comes back. We've got Tyler Boucher gets signed. Jake Sanderson, is he going to join the Sens? And the schedule is an absolute disaster. They canceled practice again today. Matt, your reaction to bringing back up Matt Murray because Anton Forsberg is in COVID protocol. Philip Gustafsson just got out. By the way, this is brought to you by Whitewater. Shop whitewater.ca. Get 15% off. Use the Wally Methot coupon code. By the way, it's the holiday season. Please drink responsibly. But always a good thank you to our good friends at Whitewater Brewery, brewed by friends for friends. So we see Matt Murray return. Not a surprise because they need a goaltender, but a bit of a surprise because they wanted to send him down to get some games in. He played 2. What do you think is going to transpire, Matt?
I'm done making these predictions with Matt Murray. I have no idea. I know that they need to have him up. Now's a good opportunity, right? I think it kind of made the decision easier for the Ottawa Senators in that, unfortunately Forsberg's on protocol or in protocol rather. Yeah. So frees up a spot. The timing's pretty good. Murray's been down there now for a few weeks at least. What was it, been a month? I don't even know how long he's been down there for, but long enough that he's had a lot of reps under his belt. Try to find that confidence, if you will.
But they haven't. They haven't been on the ice since like the 18th. You're still, yeah. But have they not been practicing at least, like as a group, or have they just been completely off? They only started skating 2 days ago, I think. So they were off for like 2 weeks. They had 20 guys test positive. In any case, he's an NHL goalie. He belongs up here at the NHL level, but he has to perform like an NHL player. So we're going to have to wait and see how this pans out. I could pretend like I know what I'm talking about here, but with Matt Murray and the goaltending situation, it's been just a revolving door that I just one game at a time with him right now. I think when he comes up, he doesn't need to blow the roof off. He doesn't need to stand on his head. Just have a good, strong game. Look composed and calm between the pipes. Yeah. I don't want to see him scrambling too much. Of course, you need the group in front of him to play well. Luckily for him, the group has been playing excellent hockey, especially this past month. So, I think he'll be okay.
Brent, what about you? What do you think is going to happen with Matt Murray here?
I don't know, but what I want him to have happen is to stand on his head. Like, I really just want him to have a great game, but I want it for him. Like, I don't want it for I just want him to enjoy a little bit of the moment, right? It's been such a struggle for him almost the entire time he's been here. I just want one of these games just for him to be, just to let the air out a bit. And I'm hoping all this time off, all that's happened, a little bit of a reset, that he comes back in and has that moment. That's what I just want him to have.
Yeah, I'd like to see how he can play with the team playing well, right? Like, he only played really for the team when they were terrible this year, right? So if the team's going to play as hard as they have been in front of Gustafsson and Forsberg, I mean, I don't see a huge difference with Matt Murray. I mean, his numbers aren't crazy different from some of those guys when you take out the stretch that Forsberg had of 5 games or whatever, right? Like, so I'd like to see what he can do, but it depends, right? You never know what team you're going to get to show up.
But the problem is, Craig, it's the goals at the wrong time. Yeah. It's the bad goal. It's the deflating goal. It's the momentum killer.
I agree.
That's been a bit of the issue.
Yeah. So, well, maybe those go away if the defense core in front of him is a little bit. I don't know. Like, definitely he's got to have some personal responsibility here. But I think this is probably like his best case scenario is that he's back up because he has to be so quickly. It doesn't have to be a thing where, because if he does play a handful more AHL games or whatever and struggles, like, what do you do then? Like, so at least here, it's a good opportunity for him. I know he said some nice things about Justin Peters too, as the goalie coach down there. He got to work with him for a bit, so maybe he just needed some time doing that. I don't know. I mean,
was that a backhanded shot, by the way, at Zach Burke?
I don't know. That was a weird one. Maybe. I don't know those guys. I know Pierre. I know Pierre Grew, and that's about it. And he was great. So
Pierre's a good dude.
So I don't know. Hopefully, man, goalies are weird, right? Sometimes they just need the right coach to point them in the right direction. And some guys like their own guys, and some guys like to get pushed and whatever. So I don't know. Hopefully, if he has a guy he likes and he got to work with him for a bit, maybe we'll see some good production out of it. I don't know. Best case scenario, I guess.
Okay. Lots of player movement. Let's talk. Tyler Boucher now signs his entry-level contract. He's leaving BU. He's headed to the Ottawa 67s, where he'll play for former Ottawa Senators head coach and current World Junior head coach, Dave Cameron. I like the move. I think it's good for Tyler to maybe this is a better game for him. I don't know. But I think, again, he's a guy that may need a little bit of a reset. He had 2 goals, 3 points in 17 games with BU, team leading 34 penalty minutes. I think the physical game of the OHL suits him better. And I think Dave Cameron can really help him out. You played for Dave. I think, and Dave's a bit of a teacher as well. I think this is better suited for Tyler Boucher. Amen.
There's no question. I totally agree with you there, Wally. I think with Dave Cameron, rather, he's a great communicator. He is that teacher sort of presence in the dressing room. And I think particularly with these junior players, he can really kind of work that. And with Tyler Boucher, I mean, I don't know the player. I don't know the guy. I mean, I know the player, I should say, but I've never actually met him or spoken to him. But just based off of what I've seen from his game, he's got that physical kind of Tom Wilson edge to him. He likes to run players. He likes to play physical. He can score too. He's got a bit of a touch. He hasn't been able to find that touch at BU. It's a different game though. Like when you're playing in the NCAA, you're playing with more mature players. The schedule's a little bit different, right? So the games are very much full of energy. I remember going to a game at St. Lawrence University. My agent was trying to kind of help me decide whether I wanted to play in the OHL or an NCAA. And I still remember going to that game at St. Lawrence and thinking like, man, like this is intimidating. It looked different. It was very high intensity because they only played like 1 or 2 games a week, right? And the rest of the week they're just training and they're older. So everyone's very strong. It's got a high pace to it. Whereas in junior at the OHL level, it's probably a little more catered and tailored towards the NHL style, that pro style scheduling. So I think we're going to see him thrive. I really do. I can't really comment any other than that. I think we're going to see a much different player. He's going to be more confident and is going to feel more at home.
Brent, Dave Cameron. Completely agree. I was going to say, Dave Cameron on our show talked a lot about that, kind of how working with young players again and stuff like that. It's kind of neat, I think, that he gets to work with the Sens first round pick. Like, I mean, he wasn't coaching. Anyway, what do you think? What do you think a Dave Cameron impact will be on Tyler Boucher from what you've seen, Brent?
It's a great question. Tyler's now, he's been off for a bit, right? Because he's had to deal with having COVID and battling through, and there are symptoms with it. And the biggest thing we've heard with professional athletes is just being off and not being able to do things for 2 weeks is, Matthew, you can attest to this, is takes a while to get conditioning back. And then if it's in your lungs and it's heavy to breathe, it's hard, obviously, to be a complete high-end performance athlete. So that becomes a bit of an issue. But I think Cameron can turn his game to where he needs it. I just think Dave understands. He's coached junior. He's coached AHL, the NHL. He's also coached in Austria. He's coached World Junior. He knows what it takes to get the most out of those guys, and he's been pretty successful doing it. I think he can just get the most out of Tyler and find out what role it is that Tyler needs to play. The problem is, and this is going to plague him throughout his career, is because he's picked at 10th overall, the expectations that we've all placed on him from everybody, because Central Scouting and everybody had him picked lower, is we all expect him now to be that top 10 pick at some point, where there needs to be a little bit of patience and let him just find his game.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be nice to see what he does too. I mean, this is a move you can pull once, right? Like you can decide you're not an NCAA player one time. And so this is good. I think he's landing in a great spot. What you were touching on with Dave there is interesting. I think it's the pro style game, right? That's what I think Tyler Boucher wasn't getting in the NCAA. And where, like Meth said, everybody's physically mature there, right? NCAA, from the guys I've talked to, it's a great place to go if you're not physically ready to play the pro style game yet. And I think Tyler Boucher is. I mean, look at this. Yeah, look at this dude. Like, I don't need to say that. Like Brady Tkachuk was kind of the same way. He didn't need 4 years of NCAA. Like physically, he was strong enough, and he needed to start learning that pro style game because he was ready for it. So I think Tyler Boucher is now going to bring look at this dude, he's jacked. He's going to bring all that back to Ottawa. He's going to play against kids his own age where he's going to be the biggest guy on the ice and no one can stop him. And he can start learning that Tom Wilson style of playing, of just being intimidating, running over everybody, and then bring that and kind of develop with that instead of like, here you go, kid, well, like, good luck. These are 22-year-olds, right? So
yeah, and he's going to adapt to the physical play and having to respond. Like, you're going to have to answer the bell now. Like, so even at the OHL level, when you take a couple runs at a few players, there's going to probably be a player that's going to want to fight you. And that's something that I know not a lot of people like to talk about, but that's the play that Tyler Boucher is going to bring, and he's going to have to fend for himself sometimes. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that. I'm curious.
It looked like Meth and I in the gym together. That pick. Well, what a training program we have with there.
I recall helping Wally carry
Wally's taking the picture.
A 1,300-pound treadmill into Wally's basement, and I feel like he's barely used it.
Yeah.
No, I used it the other day. I turned it on.
Okay, good. The other day. All right, cool. You turned it on? Good.
Yeah. All right. Last question. That is Jake Sanderson. Interesting that Pierre Dorian the other day said, I believe it's Pierre Dorian, or maybe it was, now I'm thinking it might be DJ Smith, said Jake Sanderson can join the Sens whenever he wants. Now, if you're Jake Sanderson, are you saying, okay, I'm out? Or you're like, I want to win the Hobey Baker, see if I got a chance to win a national championship. I'm in no rush to do this. I'm going to wait. I want to say, if you have that option, I think Pierre Dorian's just throwing it out there. Because if you have that option, do you not leave school right away to start your pro NHL career?
You would think so. But in this case with Sanderson and the NHL pedigree that runs in the family, he's going to have the right people in his ear talking to him, right? Like, he knows a lot of people. He's in a really good program. It's interesting. I think if I'm him, based off of the rave reviews that I've been reading about him, because I haven't followed him, at least not watching his games, but based off the reviews, it sounds like he's pretty close to being NHL ready. So if that is in fact the case, he's probably chomping at the bit to make that next step, and he probably knows how good he really is. So, I mean, until I'm going to watch a little. Well, I was going to say I was going to watch him. I was looking forward to watching him play at the World Juniors, and now I've been robbed of that as well, like everybody else. So, I mean, looking at the current situation.
But here's my thing on Jake Sanderson.
Yeah,
can we just let him play? Like, there's no guarantee that Jake Sanderson's going to step in and be a. But everybody in Ottawa thinks he's automatically a top 4 D-man right now.
Everybody
playing in the National Hockey League.
Everybody in every fan base has the same approach. This is very normal. It's just human nature. You've got the next best thing coming up. We're excited to see him play. It doesn't necessarily mean he's NHL ready. I'm the first to tell everybody that right now. He might come up and be terrific, but it's definitely not guaranteed, because the NHL and the NCAA are vastly different. I can tell everybody right now. It's the same as the OHL and the NHL. There were so many things that I had to change with my game in order to make that next step to the National Hockey League. And it was the smallest little things that you would barely notice if you were watching on TV, but there's these little habits that need to be broken. Sanderson is light years ahead of where I was coming out of junior. I'll fully admit to that. But yeah, I think right now it just comes down to the player and what he wants to do. If I'm Jake Sanderson and I see an opportunity, the Ottawa Senators, I'm probably going to make the jump. I think he'll fit in pretty good. He's a great skater. Defensively, he's got some good awareness. He's offensively sneaky good as well. There's room for him. I mean, I don't know where he'll fit on the depth chart. Yeah, I see right there. Okay, slotting him with Zub is a best case scenario for him.
Yeah.
It'll come down to what the team wants to do, though.
What do you guys think as far as?
I don't see the rush.
Well,
I'm with you.
It's one of those things where if we're talking about we're back in the development phase or whatever, okay, perfect. Let this guy, here's an opportunity for him to develop in games that don't really mean anything yet, especially at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's probably likely he'll follow a similar path that Bernard Docker and Pinto and those guys do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how much value are we placing on him taking a team, like leading a team to the Final Four or Frozen Four, or winning the Hobey Baker, or those things? Like, are those things that he needs to do? And I think it probably can't hurt him at this point. And I mean, you see what's happening in Ottawa right now. He doesn't need to fight for a spot just yet. I think he's just like we talked with Tyler Boucher. He's got to learn the pro style game. If you're coming out of the NCAA, like that's the number one thing those guys have to do. And guys like Shane Pinto pick it up super quick versus guys like, and this is not a knock on Bernard Docker because I think he's unreal. It's taken him a little bit of time because he's been playing the NCAA game for. Yeah, exactly.
Because the back end
you're a
is
defenseman.
so tough.
Yeah, you're playing on defense. There's so much more responsibility because when you make a mistake defensively as a defenseman, it can end up in the back of your net and everything's magnified that much more. If you turn the puck over in the offensive zone as a rookie centerman, not as big a deal because the consequences aren't necessarily as big. So I think, it comes down to the position. Bernard Docker is going to be a great player. It just takes time on D. It's just like goaltending, right? Everything's magnified when you make a mistake. Takes time to polish those positions off.
By the way, in the calendar year, Ottawa finished 28th overall. They were in 84 games, went 32, 45, and 7 with a .423 winning percentage. Here's a look at the 2021 Sens leading scorers. So this is from January 1st to now because they're not going to get another game in before the end of the year. Any surprise? Anybody shocked that Drake Batherson is the leading scorer on this hockey team?
No, he's probably been their most consistent, best skilled offensive player since at least for the last calendar year, as is proven here. But I don't think so.
And I hate
one thing I'd like to point out.
Sorry, go ahead, Wally.
That's okay. Is they're basically 84 games. I think it was an 84 games, and Connor Brown played them. Josh Norris played them all. If you look, roughly it's an 82 game season. So there's those top 4 guys are all 20 goal scorers, and Josh Norris being a 30 goal scorer. Like, I'm just trying to show over the course of a full season, you've got 4 potential, easily 20 goal scorers, if not 30 goal scorers, with Tim Stützle just behind there trying to still find his game. Like, that's an impressive lineup.
Yeah, I think the next thing to look at is who's going to take the next step. Who's going to become a 70-point player? Who's going to be the first 30 goal scorer, right? It's one of these guys, right? It's got to be. So it's interesting to see. It's nice to track their numbers over a year because we really haven't had and you can kind of take these with a bit of a grain of salt because it's not it's been a real standard 82 game season. It's broken up with a huge off season in the middle. So it's not perfect, but I think as an indicator, it's good to know that your three best guys are your 3 best guys. So. Especially seeing Shabbat down there too. He's struggled a little bit offensively this year as far as just putting up numbers, but he's still he could have that. He could lead the team in scoring one year. I'm not sure if he has the Erik Karlsson numbers in him, but he could put up 60 points. He could you never know. So it's nice to see that the offense is coming along, and especially with those top 3 guys, that's a line that's ideally you hope develops and plays together for the next couple of years. So to see the early success is just telling you you're going in the right direction. What do we think about Connor Brown, though? I'd like to see. Is he more last year or is he more this year long term? That's, I think, something we'd like to figure
out. I think he's fine right where he is, and on a really good hockey team, he's a 3rd line right winger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree.
I mean, he's got the trust of DJ Smith. He plays the most minutes of any forward. He's penalty killer. He does some power play at times. He loves him. So there's a complete trust factor. He stays in that 3rd line, ideally that 3rd line right winger spot, but I don't know that is the case. I mean, he can still put up points.
Yeah. What I think he has over some of the other guys too, is he can move up too, right? He can, if injuries cause it or whatever, he's not a terrible guy to bump up from your 3rd line to your 2nd line. At least he can still contribute offensively and bring some stability there. But hey, man, these are nice to see, right? I mean, they finished. You're saying their record was they were 28th over the last calendar year. That's not ideal. You'd like to see some movement in the standings now, I think, to correspond with these players developing. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's what they got the rest of this year to figure out.
Meth, it's time. We've kind of asked some future projection questions. So now I think it's time once again. If you could be prepared, it's time to switch hats. It is time for Mathstradamus. Okay. Let's just get right to it. Mathstradamus, how many games does Matt Murray play this year for the Ottawa Senators?
Oh, You know, it's funny. I'm not prepared for this at all. I'm just going to use my intuition.
I'm shocked by
enjoy
that.
Doing. Yeah, I know you're not surprised. You know what? I'm not even paying attention to those numbers right now because with Matt Murray, I just want him to play one good game followed by another one. But you're right. For the sake of this little exercise, if I had to guess, I'm going to say 20 games.
Wow. By the way, Mathstradamus brought to you by sportsinteraction.com, sportsinteraction.com/Wally and Methot for the most competitive odds. Okay, Math. We're seeing perhaps Ottawa is at the bottom part of the league in the standings. Still some games to be played. Where does Ottawa draft in this upcoming draft? What will their pick number be?
Well, I'm Team Tank, so I'm hoping it's a top 3 pick. I'm going to say number 3, baby.
Okay. I just think you picked number 3 because you wore it and you're all in on that number. Who will win the Stanley Cup this year, Mathstradamus? Have you changed your mind from the beginning of the year? So who's it going to be?
I'm going with Tampa. I'm going with Tampa Bay. Right now, Tampa's the team. Okay, never mind.
Can you just wait a minute?
That's okay. Let's keep it going.
Okay, fine. How many dogs will you have by the end of the 2022 year?
Let's say we're at 4 now.
Yeah.
7.
Okay.
I think it's illegal to have more than 3 dogs, by the way, and we're at 4. So if somebody wants to report us, please just don't be shy. Call.
Okay, 311 would be the number. Final question for Mathstradamus today, and that it's a big one because this is near and dear to my heart. Will Dion Phaneuf finally agree to come on the show in 2022?
Absolutely not. Nah, you know what? He's just that guy right now. I don't know why. And we talk all the time. He literally takes time out of his day to make fun of all my Instagram posts, one after the other. So it's just him in the interviews right now. He's saving them for other people, apparently. But we'll try and get him on.
I thought you guys were closer. I will say, I was talking to Noodles the other day.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mathstradamus is now over for the show. Meth has packed up the Mathstradamus outfit and is now. I reached out to Noodles and it's like, look, your buddies too. Can you just ask him if you're bored and you're sitting around doing nothing? It's like, I'll ask him. So I'm hoping there's enough pressure. Eventually, he'll agree to come on the show.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Can
we send him a gift
or two?
Okay, let's send him some wine.
Yeah, I don't know.
And tell him he can't drink it unless we. All right.
Fair
okay. Does Craig? We need to bring you back in here for a moment because I'm totally all over the show. New Year's resolutions brought to you by gongshowgear.ca. Go to gongshowgear.ca and get. They have by the way, a Boxing Week sale still going on. They've always got sales going on. We love our good friends over at gongshowgear.ca. Use the shop the Wally and Methot collection. Craig, do you have a New Year's resolutions? Do you do New Year's? Does anybody do New Year's resolutions anymore?
No, I stopped doing that. I stopped doing it because if you wait into there's a bunch of people I was talking to, they're waiting to do their New Year's resolutions. It's like, oh, so you're going to be a piece of shit, right up until January 1st, and then you're going to change something. So I stopped doing that as much. I'm just going to try and, I don't know, it's kind of miserable right now. So we're just trying to find ways to make it more exciting. I think the one thing I'd like to do, and hopefully COVID kind of relents at some point here we do this, as I'd like to travel again. We've all been stuck in our houses and in our homes and in our countries and our cities and whatever else. And that's something I miss. So I think ideally, hopefully things stay together and maybe we can get a little traveling done. That's my bit. What about you, Brent?
What about you, Meth?
Oh, we'll go with Meth first.
Oh.
I don't have any. Haven't given it any thought either.
I could have just taken the question out if you just come to the meeting just one time.
I see them all. I got them. Yeah. Look, when I'm done here, I got to go back and lift a bunch of shit. Okay. I'm not in the right space right now mentally.
Well, do you not want us to keep you then longer? We've got a segment coming up here shortly. The best of the last year we've put together. You're going to want to watch this.
Okay.
Finally, I don't know if I have any New Year's resolutions. I just after the year we just went through and that I went through, I'm okay just to, you know what? I'd like to be a little less fat. So I would like to get on the treadmill a little more. So I'll do that.
A lot of people need to make some changes there. And I think it's a good opportunity.
Yeah. So you're going to put together a workout program, and I'm going to come over every day at 6 a.m. with my headband, and we're going to pump this out in 80s music.
No.
Little Olivia Newton-John.
No.
Okay.
So what's your plan? What's your plan then, Brent? You going to walk on the treadmill? Run on the treadmill? What are we doing?
Exactly.
I'm going to run.
How are you getting in shape here? Okay.
I can't walk. I got to run.
You need to lift weights. Everybody has this thing in their mind. Well, I got to burn calories and get on the treadmill. Right. It's dumb. It's so dumb. You need to buy like a little power block. Like, I'm not saying people need to go buy a big set of weights. Just buy like some dumbbell, like the power blocks that kind of interchange, right? It's simple. Yep. You can do body weight exercises too, but people have to move and lift things too. It's not just walking on a treadmill. Yeah.
I agree completely, because you don't lose the weight. And then anyway, I just like to run a little. Okay.
2022, Wally gets jacked. That's what we're doing.
That's right.
I like it.
With my 80s headband.
Hey, look at Alex quick.
Jesus.
See? Exactly. Finally, Craig has put together a little something. Beth, you're going to want to watch this because I got to ask you a question afterwards. Here is the best moments of the show since we started, when we're now into December. I think we did this March. So like the last 9 months. Alex, roll the tape. Pleased to be joined by my good friend. I get to call him that because we used to work together. Jeff O'Neill. Dog, pleased to have you on the show, my friend.
I think good friend is a bit of a stretch, Wally. We worked together twice. And we never had dinner. We didn't do anything. We did 2 hits together. One in the playoffs in Ottawa and one in Pittsburgh. And you butchered that one. So I think good friends is a stretch.
Are you still a big chip guy?
More so when I go back to Sweden in the summer. I like chips. I do. I like food in general.
Can you surf? Have you tried surfing?
Terrified of sharks.
Oh, that's right.
Not going in the water. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. We have like great white sharks just 20 minutes from like our place. No chance.
Yeah.
No
really?
chance.
Why are you scared of sharks?
Well,
I don't know.
Have you ever swam with a great white shark?
Why are you?
Well, no, but you're not going out swimming with a great white shark.
Yeah, but you don't know.
Yeah, you are.
When they come in the bay and and they're not even trying to eat you, but that curious little nibble could be life or death, right?
I would rather fight a bear than a shark. I'll tell you that.
It's a good quote.
Did you fight the bear?
I mean, I would probably first I would run, then I would play dead, and then if it came down to it, I would have to fight it.
You're not supposed to. What are you supposed to do with? They say black bears, you're supposed to run, but a brown bear, a grizzly, you're supposed to play dead. I think, right? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I might get a heart attack before any of that happens.
I mean, yeah, same.
But I would probably try and stay as still as possible in the beginning to see if it leaves me alone, and then if
until it charges at you.
If it charges you, then you run.
People think you can outrun a bear. No.
Then you go for the throat.
Have you ever seen them run it? Like, have you seen a bear run in the woods? I've seen some hunter cams. They're so fast. It's insane.
I know. You got a zigzag and roll.
They're more agile than we are, man.
I know, but you get a zigzag and roll. Can't go in a straight line.
There, you heard it from Carl, zigzag and roll. Lisa, what's the best gift that he's paid, that he bought you?
This is a setup. This is a total
It is. It's totally. This one's scripted. The other stuff wasn't. This one is.
You know what? And I know a lot of people give him a ton of flack for this, but he bought me a snowblower for my 40th birthday.
That is embarrassing, but I mean, I can appreciate that you liked it. That's incredible to me.
But you know what? The other thing he bought me too that was great was a battery-operated whippersnipper because.
That would be like me. That would be like me buying my wife an ironing board. You just don't do these things. You know, it doesn't look good optics wise. Wally, I wanted to make a comment here quickly. Yeah. Hang on, just one quick. So during the show, my wife sent me a text. It's not good. And she goes, This is around like 1:30 because I've got the Ethernet cable now, right? She goes, the internet doesn't work now because of what you did. No music, no TV, nothing. And she's trying to do a workout. Like right next door to me right now is our gym and my daughter's sleeping. So this is like our sweet spot during the day from 1 to 3 where my son is still at school, my daughter's napping, and I've essentially ruined my wife's afternoon. So I'm doing it for the people.
And we need to get Ellie on at some point to discuss how this whole setup is going. But what have you done to shut the whole internet down? You just plugged in a cable, didn't you?
So when I don't know. You tell me. I'm an idiot. I'm a dummy when it comes to this stuff. So you could argue that I'm a dummy most of the time, but especially when it comes to the technological stuff, I'm telling you, and there's hopefully somebody out there can correct me or maybe give us a little more insight. I think it's weather related. I'm thinking that there's something to do. It's always when it's overcast or kind of raining, and my body just responds in the worst possible way. I'm fighting it today. I'm a warrior. I made it here, and I'm gonna fight to live another day.
Here's what I think it is: climate change. Do you have a baby monitor? Should we?
I don't know. I just got a cramp in my leg. Hang on.
What? We haven't even gotten to the third pick yet. By the way, Anaheim about to make the third pick. They haven't had a winning season since the 27-18 season. They were 30th in the league last year, 6 points up on Buffalo. Matthew, you going to be okay?
Oh, nope.
As Bob Murray takes to the podium.
Oh my God.
Did he just leave a live show because he's cramping up?
Yeah.
My hamstring.
Oh. So I don't even know what to do anymore.
So,
yep.
Okay, 1 second.
I was hoping this would happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get a little water.
What are we gonna do now? I'm gonna. Okay.
Gotta hydrate.
Right? I'm all about it. I go through like 6 or 7 Perriers a day. Igor, what do you got back there?
Do you really want to see it?
Yeah, show us. Let's take a look at this mountain. What are they? Is it just regular flat water?
That's a flow. Yeah.
The flow.
Oh, flow. Oh, did you get a deal on that?
I 1 second. I know the guy, like, part of it.
In my stall is Billy Smith. And he's like, I need to talk to you in the hallway right now. And I was like, all right, and I'm thinking, he doesn't want to give me all the accolades in front of everyone. He takes me out in the hallway and I'm standing there and he's like, don't you ever let that fucking bird stand in your crease again. And I was like, what? Like, I'm like, I just got first star. And he's like, if that fucking bird's there on Thursday, he's like, you take him out. And I'm like, what?
Like, it was so much not Damian Rose, hold on 1 second. That's my turkey in the oven. Give me 1 second.
Oh. This segment brought to you by Cooking with Meth.
I'm back. That's the turkey in the oven. So my timer went off for cooking time. So sorry.
Can you tell me how Jacques Martin would describe the best game you ever played?
Best game I've played. Well, Andre, I think I just want to bring you in to tell you the way you played last night. +2 through some big hits on some key guys. That's the way we want you to play, and under control. Not getting involved in stupidities. And if you play that way, Andre, I think you're going to be more effective for our hockey club going down the road. So I just want to make sure and mention to you that's how we like you to play, and just keep working hard on and off the ice, and stay away from Pigalle and Gatineau.
That was excellent.
Oh, it's so good. Great stuff.
Yeah, dude, that's.
And by the way, yeah, well done, Craig. Good job putting that together. And we've lost Meth, so We are the ones that are. I shouldn't be surprised after everything that's happened this year. I shouldn't be surprised that he's. Yeah. So
I like it.
The one thing you know what? Going back to watch the leg cramp thing again, which always makes me laugh.
So fucking funny.
I didn't really appreciate at the time of what's going on. Like, I'm still trying to be professional. Like, well, Anaheim had the 2017-18 pick, and this is now Bob. I'm like, I should have just shut it down and watched this all play out. But I'm trying to be serious. Mendez doesn't know what's going on. Yeah.
I like it because of the tie-in, because we've had Mason McTavish on our show a couple of times, right? Like, that was his pick, and Meth's cramping up during it. Like, that was kind of funny. I hadn't realized that until I rewatched it, and I was like, oh, okay, I remember dying laughing. It was funny. When he sits back down and has to pop right back up, I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, I was like, what are you doing? So that stuff is gold. Anyway, it's been a great so far year of putting this all together with you and Meth and Alex and a few other people that are behind the scenes that we do. So that's been huge. So it's been a lot of fun. So thanks to you and thanks to everybody else. And thanks to everybody for watching us, for crying out loud. You guys have been very good to us.
Yeah, man, this has been a lot of fun. And you can still hear my kid's phone now is ringing over there and I can't stop it. So that's fun. So we're just going to kind of talk through it because that's the kind of show it's been today. But yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah. I can't, like, we did a rough count. We were like somewhere 75 shows-ish or something. So I mean, geez, we're just cranking these out. So that's good stuff. Excited to see.
I can't wait for number 100.
Yeah, I can't wait for this phone to stop fucking ringing. But yes, lots of things on the go today. Can you hear it? Is it super loud? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can hear it. It's annoying as hell. So
they're gonna call back, I'm sure.
Oh, great. And a reminder, as always, we've had such a huge list of sponsors, but our legacy people of Sports Interaction and BEI and Whitewater and, of course, Gong Show, all those guys have taken good care of us. We appreciate each and every one of you. We appreciate all of you for watching. So thank you. I hope you have a fantastic New Year's, and we will see you on the other side in 2022.